Hello friends, this is Cara-Renee with B.Reborn Art and Healing, coming to you with another craft with me. This project is inspired by Angela Kerr over at Angela Kerr Designs. She did this project a little bit differently than I did for the Out with a Bang collaboration that was hosted by Mandy Reed and Julie from Julie's Papercraft. And she made hers with a signature in it, and her envelopes were quite a bit bigger. I tried a larger envelope, but the jimmy rigging I had to make those work was just not worth it, in my opinion. So I went with a smaller envelope. But basically, let me show you what it looks like. So again, she put a signature in hers. I'm not going to do that. I loved the idea because when I get to the end of a journal, I always have a lot of extra ephemera, like extra tags and extra sentiments and extra bits that I kind of just get lost in my baskets and stuff in the studio. So I thought, what a perfect project for being able to just fill up these envelope bits with some of that extra ephemera. So this one obviously is done in the ocean theme. So basically, it is just 3 envelopes together. The hardest part is the papers, I have to tell you. So it opens like this. So it's got 3 envelopes, and so I'll be able to tuck tags and ephemera that are not embellished, just plain tags, plain little bits. So 1, 2, 3 spots. I believe in hers, she put her signature here, which you could totally do. I don't need a signature in this. I'm just treating it as an ephemera holder. So yeah, really, really beautiful. I love how this ocean one turned out. And you get to kind of show off a lot of the beautiful images all in one place. So I'll turn it over so you can see the back. So there you go. Really, really beautiful. So let's just show you what it looks like when it's closed. So I was selective in what I put on this panel because I wanted this image, and I loved that these little girls are walking as though they're kind of walking to the house. So that was fun. So that's what we're going to do today. So my envelopes measure 5 1/4 by 7 1/4. The other thing that I bumped into is she used this kind of envelope, these kinds of envelopes with this flap, which I prefer. Most of my envelopes are the kind of rectangle cut, and I don't like them as much, but they don't sell these ones at Hobby Lobby anymore. So I need to find another source because I prefer these for this kind of project. So I've got some supplies here, my scissors, obviously a ruler, and my ink and Fabri-Tac. I would recommend Fabri-Tac because you get time to move your stuff around. I like to ink things, so that's why I have the ink there as well. So the first thing that we're going to, and I already did cut my papers down. So I've got a lot of papers here because I couldn't quite decide which ones I wanted to use. So we'll figure that out together. And I cut them the size of the envelope. So there, I might have to do a little bit of trimming, probably a little bit of trimming, because these are just exactly the size of the envelope. And that can sometimes be a problem if things aren't lined up perfectly, and you'll have some hangover, and then that can cause a problem because if you need to trim it, you can often like nip that edge open, and you don't want to do that. So for now, we're going to set those aside until we're ready for them. And so what we're going to do, the way it's going to work is we're going to glue. So you want this one up with the flap to your left. Set this one here just so you can kind of get an idea of what I'm doing, and then set this one here. So that's the methodology that I am going with. So I'm going to set that third one aside, and I'm just going to put a bunch of glue on here. And then we will be putting a little bit of a gusset here, and I believe, I can't remember which one I did it with, but I think another one I had to trim it a little bit, or I had to do a second score line because it was binding. So we will problem solve that when we get there. Now you want to leave a little bit of space, so I'm just going to run that glue almost to that edge. And then I have to turn this just because of the angle that I work at. So I'm going to turn it all the way around, and I'm going to set this on here. And again, due to the Fabri-Tac, you do have time to wiggle it and move it around. So I'll hold this up for you in a second. I hope that you'll check out Angela Kerr though. She's such a brilliant lady. I love her. Love her, love her. I am not the same style as me. I'm very grungy. She doesn't do grunge, which I think is kind of funny when I hear her talk about it. She's like, I'm not the grungy girl. So she's definitely not. She does very, very bright things. In fact, most of the, well, all the papers that I'm using today are from her Garden Story kit. So there you can see I have, this is the factory score line, and then we've got a gap here. So that's what we want. Hopefully you guys can see that. And as I mentioned in my Beloved Beauty Monthly, I do have a new camera coming. I'm hoping that it's going to solve some of my focus problems. And we're probably going to experience more of this shaking because I did some changes in the studio. So I have just a single desk independently set up in the middle of the room. So we'll see how that's going to work. It's a little bit wobbly. Probably just needs the legs tightened. We are putting a new top on it, so maybe I'll have my husband tighten up all the legs too. So there, we're going to do the same thing with this one. We're going to slide it under here and go from there. Again, I'm going to turn it just for my ease. Sorry about that, camera. Bumping the camera. I'm just going to set that down. And then I'm going to leave that same gap. Now these don't appear to be the same size. I don't worry about that. It's okay. So yeah, because this is what it happened. So the first time I did it in my prototype, I bumped this all the way up to that line. And then when I closed this, it bound. Right now it's not binding. So that's perfect. So you want to leave that little gap for that reason. Okay. There we go. So normally when I do an envelope project, I number them, but I'm not going to do that. So see how this envelope seems to be taller. So I'm not sure why that is. But it is. So we're just going to have to deal with it. Not a problem. You know what I say, perfection is not at play in the studio. So just uncapping my ink there, and I'm going to bring the papers back over. Now, when this folds up, this is going to be the front, okay? So this is what's going to be showing. So let's just go ahead and write front on here, okay? And then let's just look through these together and figure out what one we want to really shine. Now, because I want to consider that this is going to be coming over it, so I'd prefer to have most of my beautiful the beautiful part of my image that I want to see over on this edge. So let's see what oh, she would be pretty. Yep, I love that, Grandma. I love that, Grandma. So let's take a look at this and see if we need to trim down. I'm thinking that we are going to have to trim all of these down because they're going to hang over. So when I look at it, so see how I have, well, not really. It might be okay. I think I'm going to take just a smidge off of all of these. So I'm going to go ahead and take just like a sliver, like a hair's breadth off of one edge, one short edge and one long edge. So I'll be right back. Okay, I'm hoping that's going to be enough. Let's see. So I'm just going to set those extra papers over there, and yeah, that looks to be pretty good. Yeah, much better. So I'm going to go ahead and I will chat in between, but I'm going to just be inking and gluing, but I will come back. Okay, so I'm just going to put the glue all on the back of this. You could put it on the envelope too, but this works just as fine. I would love your feedback as to this contact paper under my glass mat. Is that distracting? Is it helpful? I would love to hear your feedback on that. That was my first attempt to try to resolve the focus issue, and it did not solve the problem. So, oh, that was a perfect choice, Cara-Renee. Perfect choice. Just rubbing off some of that excess. So then the next thing I like to decide is, what do I want to be beautiful on this front flap? And I actually think I want some of the blue polka dot paper. So let me find it here in my stack. This one here. So what I like to do is I like to just glue it on and then cut around it. So, well, except, yeah. So what ends up happening with my process is I have parts of my envelope journal that have a little bit of an edge and parts that don't. But I like the easy way, so I'm going to continue to do it the easy way. So I'm just going to glue this. Oh, is it big enough? Ooh, is it big enough? Yes, it is. So I'm going to just flip this over so I have this exposed. Actually, I'm going to open the whole thing up. I'm going to put all of my glue on here. I don't go all the way to the edge because I don't want too much of a oozing over, and some of that will squish out. So I do have to be pretty particular here though, because my paper is just tall enough. Okay, just like that. Give it a second to set. I do want a little bit of gap. If I can honor that little bit of brown showing, that would be good. Okay. And then I just take my scissors and cut around it. Got a lot going on here. There we go. It's probably good to let it dry, but you know, it's a video, so I have to keep on keeping on. Cutting into the envelope a little bit, but that's okay. And then I just like to go back and do that rounded part separate. My setup in the studio is a little bit different. I used to have this long table here. I had a small square table in that corner and then another long one, and that kept everything braced and pressed together. So now I've lost a lot of my kind of counter space, so to speak, for laying stuff out. So I did have to go buy a little TV tray that I can pop up and put my cutter on off here to the left of me. But that solved that problem pretty easily and for like 20 bucks. So I was happy. It allowed me to get some more calyx units because the calyx units don't fit under my table. They're too tall. So yeah, I love it. And now we can ink this up. We normally would ink before we glue, but because this is on the edge and we cut around it, we have to wait. There we go. So this is obviously for the Joyful Spring Journal, and I'm working on getting it done. I'm just about ready to put the signatures in. So, oh, look at that. Oh, look at that. Oh, I didn't do my gusset. Shoot. I don't have room for a gusset. No, I did, but I made that paper go too far, so bummer deal. We will work with it. I'll just have to put less ephemera. Maybe I'll make another one and put 2 ephemera pack envelope things in there in the journal. So there we go. Oh, I love that. It matches the chair. How beautiful. Okay, so now the hard part, which we're going to save the hard part for last. The hard part is this part, because you basically have to get a piece of paper in here, trace around this edge, cut it out, glue that in, and then come back with your panel pieces. So we will save that for a moment. So let's see what else we've got here. Actually, let's do it now so that we can use the plain paper. Sorry for my waffling. So I've got, now I've got 2 yellow and 1 blue. So I think those would be perfect. So we're just going to mix it up a little bit. We'll put the blue in the middle. So I think I have to cut this down in order for it to fit. And again, I apologize. I have to move things so that I can get to this. So I'm going to see how much I need to take off of this. Uh-oh. That envelope move. Got some glue there. Let's see. Yeah, I will have to cut off, I think, a little bit, just a smidge. I'm thinking these are not going to go in easily. Oh, maybe they will. I'm going to cut off just a little bit off of one edge. Not much at all, like not even a 1/16 of an inch. So then you're going to slide this into your envelope like that. And sometimes, sorry for the moving around, sometimes it helps to get a little metal ruler in there. It just breaks up that friction. Okay, so you're going to slide that in. We should be able to copycat this by just, oh my goodness, using this as a pattern. So we don't have to do this 3 times. Boy, I sure didn't have this much trouble with my prototype. It's not too big. It's just, I'm working with, I think this is a 32-pound paper. So a little bit thinner than what I'm used to. We have something stuck down there. It's not like a plastic bag that you can like blow into. Okay, so there we go. That will work. So now what we're going to do is take a pencil and we're going to trace around. Oh, wait a second. No, that's not what I did. Oh, that's not what I want. My apologies, guys. On these ones, basically what I did is I just cut a piece that was just wide enough for that. So I am so sorry, guys. I did one prototype that bombed, and then I did another one that I showed you. So this was easier to just cut this short. So I'm going to do that there, and I'm just going to cut all 3 of these pieces down to that size. So my apologies, my friends. So again, that's all 3 of the pieces that go inside of this pocket. So that should be good, right? Yeah. Okay, so we want yellow, blue, yellow. So I'm going to ink this long edge because it's going to be showing. Okay, and I'm going to glue it in. I'm going to put glue on the back and then stick it in there very quickly. And make sure that your inked side is out. And then you do have to kind of move quickly. So I'm just going to stick this in here. And I'm going to, this would never work with white glue, so I would recommend Fabri-Tac. Get it in there. And then we want to leave a little bit of an edge. So now it's in there, we can adjust here. So you can see that I'm leaving that little bit of a gap. I'm going to grab a paper towel here and just push that out, and we've got a bunch of glue on here, which is not a problem, but I don't want anything to stick to it. That's the nice thing about Fabri-Tac. So now I'm going to make sure that nothing is binding in there in terms of glue seepage. So we're going to continue in like fashion for this one and this one. Okay, this is the last one. It is a little bit tricky, but it is possible. So I found that if I open this up as wide as I can and just move quickly, don't hesitate, just get it in there, and then you can kind of straighten it out once it's in there, just like that. And just give it a good press. Make sure that you check to make sure you don't have any glue seepage there. So I just run my hand in there, make sure that there's nothing oozing. Okay, that's the hard part. That was the hard part. Well, both of these are hard parts. So now we need to decide what we want to be on these panels. So I made a mistake in my prototype. So see how I flipped that around? So when I flip it over, now we're upside down. So my very first prototype, I put the papers on the other side, upside down. So we're going to turn it this way, like so, so that we are upside right. So let's see. You do want to keep, I would think, keep images that have something desirable on the right. So like all 3 of these ones would work well. So we'll do that. I think I want this blue girl in the middle. So we're going to use this as a template. So she's going to fit on there, but we need to cut out this little divot. So I'm going to put my paper in here, making sure that I didn't flip anything. We're good. And we're going to slide this in there. And you do need to turn it this way just to, yeah, just going to turn it Get it in there the way I need it. Okay. Slide that all the way in. Make sure you don't have any wet glue. Come on. Goodness gracious, I did not have this much trouble before. I don't want to cut it any smaller because it will affect the look in the end, so I don't want that. Okay, so that's good. So it's in there now. So now I'm going to turn it again so that we're right side up. Sorry for the flipping. And we're going to make a pencil mark all around. Okay, so now we have a template. We're going to cut this out and then we're going to use this as the template for the other ones. Now, can I see my pencil marks? Oh, goodness gracious. I can see them on this end. I'm going to use my fussy cut scissors. They're just a little bit less imposing. I'm just going to cut along that line. If you found you had trouble seeing the line, you could always do it in a pen and then just cut on one side of the line so that it doesn't show. But we're just gonna keep on keeping on. I cannot see my pencil lines for the end though. Ugh. Shoot. Let me see if I can see it this way. Oh, there it is. Oh, it went off. Darn it, it went off. Oh my goodness. So, I should have checked that before I took it out. It does go right to the corner though, so let's just do it. See if I can do it. It might be imperfect, but that's okay. I think it is imperfect, but we'll put something there. Look at that. I messed that one up. I'm so sorry. Well, now we can't use it as a template, so because it's wrong. Let's try that again. Let's just pick a different image so I can show you exactly what we want this to look like. The dog would be really cute. Oh, except part of him would be taken off. We don't want that. And the guy would be taken off of that one. Goodness gracious. Great balls of fire. Okay. Okay, well, I wonder, I don't have enough pieces. I don't have enough, and I printed a ton of these, so actually we could use one of the solids here. Let's do that. Let's use one of the flowers. Not solids, the flowers. Okay, let's try that again. So I need to cut this down so that I have it more to the size. I will be right back. Okay. It looks a little bit too... Let's see if we can slide this one in or not. I'm going to make sure we're going the right direction. We are. That would be my number one advice. Let's get this in here. I'm going to turn it again, guys. You just want to make sure you don't turn it until after you have this going the right direction in your envelope. Making this look a lot harder than it is off camera, I assure you. Okay, there we go. Okay. Oh, wait, yeah. Oh, turning again. So this time we are going to do a double pencil line so that I don't lose that line again. Okay. Sometimes it's hard when you're working on a print that has darker passages of color. It can be really hard to see your pencil lines. I don't know if that's what happened there. I got in a hurry. There we go. So much better. Yeah, I can see it now. Okay. One more cut. Okay, let's turn her around and see what it looks like. Whoops, this way, not turn it around. It was already in the correct direction, so that looks good. I'm just checking to make sure that my template is good and solid. Looks perfect, so I'm going to go ahead and trace this onto both of my other pieces. So that's these here. And we're going to make sure we're all in the same direction. So actually, it would be easier if I did it. I can't do it on the back because that'll mess me up. That'll mess me up and I'll have to start over. So I'm just lining this up here and I'm just going to trace around both of these papers. Okay, these are all cut out, so let's go ahead and ink and get these things inked up and glued on. So they turned out pretty darn good. I don't know which way I want these to go. They kind of look, oh, this one was going to go in the middle. That's why. Like that. Okay. So I'm going to ink up. Actually, I'm going to first get rid of the pencil marks. I went crazy on the pencil. So don't really want that buried underneath the ink. Sometimes that is a problem because I'm using a permanent archival ink, so it does not shift anything, especially on this lighter bits. Fragile paper though. So I was thinking as I was doing all this cutting that if you were going to do multiple ones of these, you could make a template for these pieces so that you knew, you know, that everything was going to be the same. These are manufactured envelopes, so they're not like a lunch sack or something that are super irregular. They tend to be pretty similar in size. So, but that's totally up to you. So the way you're going to know that you're on your right side too, in terms of direction, is that this is your left opening flap. So just in case you want that little shortcut. So let's put this one here. So I'm going to go ahead and take a moment. I'm going to just speed this up and I'm going to glue all three of these panels on. I'll be right back. I didn't get this one inked, so I'll have to do that. Let's see if we can do it now, just in case that happens to you. It's not too hard. You do want to be careful you don't shift this paper, but I didn't get my ink in there, which I'm bummed about. So, and it's not perfect, but you know what? That's okay. The outside edges are easy to go back and ink. Just completely. Even though I said I'm going to ink these up, I didn't ink them up. I didn't ink it up. I'll do the other ones here in a sec, and then I'll catch up with you. I found it easier to just put the glue on there because this paper is so flimsy and I'm not used to using such thin paper. I usually use 65 pounds, so it makes it harder. This one's cut better than that one was. Look at that beautiful panel. So gorgeous. Okay, last one. Okay, here we go. Last baby. So cool. Those worked out really, really well. Okay. So now while those are drying, because I don't want to do a bunch of flipping and flopping here, I want to make sure that glue has time to set. We can work on this panel here. So I was wondering if it would be good to just bring this in and complement that piece. I think yes. So let's do that. So I'm going to go ahead and put glue on. Well, let me ink this edge first. And I'm just going to put ink on that panel and put this on and cut around it like I did before. Okay. Just place this on again. It's exactly the height, so I have to be mindful of my top and bottom edge. And then I'm just eye-spying this space in here to make sure I keep that nice and even. Okay. Let's carefully turn this over. You have to kind of fold that up a little bit. I'm just going to use my larger scissors here. And I felt I got some of the envelope there. Don't worry about that. It's not a big deal at all. I clipped it, but that's just fine. Just rounding that edge with my fussy cut scissors because it can be a little persnickety. There we go. So let's ink that edge up. Oh, that's already it. That's the other side. Yeah. Let's ink this edge up. It's all good. So even though the Fabri-Tac allows you enough time to move it, you do have to be careful here. It's set enough that unless I force it, it's going to be probably fine. I love how that tied together, and I love these different angles of the shed. So I think we're good to turn this over and do our last two panels, and then we're done. So I just love this grandma. I wish I had picked a different place for her, but she's not going to show next to anything. Maybe I won't use her since I have her there. And this is a different lady. I think this would be better to use. Oh, she's the same lady here. Are they all the same? I can't. No, are they all different? I can't tell. I really like this one though. Yeah, I think I'm going to use these two. I think this one makes sense here and that one there. So let me just ink these up. Okay, I changed my mind on that one. So it's because they're not going to all be looked at together because it's all going to be flipping and flopping. So I'm going to go ahead and glue this one on and this one on, then we'll come back and we'll do the eyelet. I am going to put my glue directly on the envelope base. Last one. I do notice I have a little bit of an overhang. I can see some white, but I'm just going to ink it up. I don't know if you guys can see that right there, but it's easily fixed. So I'm just going to rub this out, make sure that we can get all glue set. And I'm just going to apply a little bit of ink there to that edge, and it's all better. Doesn't have to be trimmed up. So this is what she's going to look like. Going to fold like this, and look at that. Oh, I love that. We get that lady there, and then we get the other lady here, and then we're going to have we really need to score this though. That is tight. I wonder if we can score it with the paper on it. What do you guys think? Might be a problem. I feel like that's going to be a problem. I really don't want to ruin it. So I'm thinking about normal ephemera I would put in here, which wouldn't be too bulky because I could easily get a few tags into each of these and have it not bulk up too much. So I think I'm not going to worry about it. It's just going to be kind of tight there. It's not a problem. So let's go ahead and put on an eyelet, and then I'm going to wrap it with some some seam binding, which I'm going to have to do after my little tray is right there in front of my drawer, so I'll have to wait. So let me just do the eyelet, and well, let me grab it because I want to show you how I tie it off. Let's see if we've got the yellow readily available here. Sorry. I might have to rethink where that ribbon is sitting, because I could put it in a different drawer and be able to get to it. So I'm just going to get this ready, and I'm going to get my eyelet setter. And I moved my eyelets, so what do I do with them? I had them on the side of my desk, and every time I moved, I'd hit my knee and the whole thing would fall. Sometimes it opens when it falls. It's not good. Okay, let's go ahead and give this a little punch. I don't measure, I just I spy. I'm just going to put that about in the center there. And I'm going to get I have a hard time getting those little backings out of here, though. I need to have them in a different container. My nails do not afford me much flexibility. There's one. Okay. I'll probably decorate this flap a little bit off camera. Give it a little bit of interest. I never used to use these backings, but they actually work very, very well. So, except then I have to do this upside down, which always throws me. So it doesn't take much to throw me. There we go. There we go. Awesome. Okay. So then what I do, I sure wish that didn't bind as much. We've got some glue there. That's a problem. Just rub out that glue. The nice thing about Fabri-Tac is when it's dry, you can kind of you can get it out, get those glue boogers out. Okay. So then what I do is take a piece of sari silk. I'm not going to cut it because then I can do it to size. I'm going to run this through here. Okay. And then, is this one opening the opposite of my, no, it's not. Oh, I'm delusional. You know what? Maybe I did it the other way. Did it go up? I don't think it matters. So I don't think it matters. It ties over here. So where are we having trouble, Cara-Renee? Seams backwards. Okay. I'm just going to cut a length of that off. I might put a little bead work or something on here, but that's basically what it looks like. You could also bring it over onto your flap. Totally up to you. This was a little bit long. I do use all these pieces though, so I don't really worry about little extra offcuts. It all get used. It goes in my scrap bin of textiles. Boy, oh boy. Tying is not my gift this day. Actually, let's get that shorter. There we go. So that is our little ephemera holder. So I think I will make another one for the journal just so that I have plenty of space for stuff and full with all those extra tags and stuff. I tend to cut and print a lot. So I will see you in the next video. I will put a label on here or some kind of word, and have a good day. Take care. Bye-bye.